I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us again. Well, not at all the kind of attention, if any, residents of an exclusive gated community seek to attract. Just before 11 this morning, a team of police officers sprang into action and headed to a marina in the area of Ocean Club Estates. Once there, this is all they needed to launch an investigation. Take a look.
An employee was cleaning debris from waters at the dock of the marina when he discovered a fetus in a bag. Police would like to say that we do not know where the origin of this bag came from. However, what we want to do is appeal to the Bahamian public at large. If you have any information in reference to this matter, to please come to the police and assist us in this investigation so that though a person may need medical assistance and that person can get that medical assistance.
Now, due to the incident's sensitive nature, police couldn't reveal the fetal age or state. However, they did disclose they're awaiting the results of an autopsy report and that the coroner has taken charge of the investigation. Today's incident, a sobering reminder of what happened just last May when a fetus was found in the trash can off a service station's restroom here in the capital.
I would say to mothers, there is always help. Reach out for help. There is someone out there, social services, the government, churches, that can help you during this time. There is help.
Now, of course, this conversation raises serious concern, and I want to focus on that for a few seconds because obviously there's somebody crying out for help. When we see this kind of matter happening, a fetus being left alone, it makes you wonder the condition of the mother, obviously, whether she's seeking medical help or whether that was indeed the place where she delivered the fetus or whether the fetus was just thrown there, unfortunately. But obviously speaks to a bigger issue. Somebody is troubled, somebody's going through a difficult time, and that they believe that was the recourse that they should have. It's a cry out for help, and we need to be able to reach out to our young people. And so we continue to urge and make the clarion call. If you know someone, as the police have said, if you know someone or know any information connected to this matter, please reach out to police or reach out to a pastor or somebody you can trust, and let's get help. It's unfortunate that fetus was never able to come to fruition, to life, because of what transpired. But obviously there's somebody feeling desperate enough that that was their way out. And again, we say there is a way out. That doesn't have to be so detrimental there. Another story of great concern tonight. 15 teen boys to miss out on school next Wednesday, and here's why. That's when the group is expected to appear before a magistrate on the charge of causing public disturbance. 15 of them. The pending court appearance is the end result of an incident at Doris Johnson Senior High School last Friday. Now, according to Assistant Police Commissioner for School Policing, Dr. Charles Wilhanna, a school resource officer was able to manage the situation.
Parents, as I always say, speak with your students, speak with your children, search their bags before they leave school. Before they leave home, search their bags. When they come home from school, know who their friends are. Look at their cell phones. Don't allow them to bring cell phones to school because cell phones encourage students to behave disorderly because they want to record these events because they think it's cool. They want to put it on social media. We also ask parents not to come to the school to try and create a disturbance with the SRO or the school administrators. The school is a safe and sterile environment, and we have in the past charged parents for disorderly behavior for coming to the school.
And Dr. Hannah just gave you a long laundry list of things that you need to do to check with your child. How about we just start here? Can you take responsibility for your bad child? How about we just start there? I think too often we push the blame elsewhere, but where it should be. Parents, you are responsible for that Lord, I can't call them creature, but you're responsible for the individuals that are involved in the issues they're involved in. You are responsible, right? You can't blame nobody on your child. You can't say they blame your child. You can't say, oh, the bad influence of my child. You have to be able to say, I'm responsible for the outcome of my child. That means you have to do what you need to do as a parent to ensure your children respect the law and don't get involved in criminal elements. How much times are we going to say this, and how many people are we going to blame? How many times are we going to say society? How many times are we going to say the school? Or you know, we have to just take responsibility as parents for our children and their actions. And that means spending time to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. You can't just be a shelter where the child comes home to sleep and you don't know anything about their life. Please, parents, take responsibility for your children and for their actions. You are the sole proprietor, I can say, or the sole custodial of your child. It's not the teacher's responsibility, it's not the principal's responsibility, it's not the police responsibility, it's not the community club responsibility, it's not the church responsibility. Those are support agencies to help what you do. But the main person responsible for your child, guess what? If you didn't know before, it's you. You are responsible. You are the one who take charge of your child and determine whether or not they go on a path of excellence or they become a nuisance to society. So the clarion call tonight is for parents. And if you have a challenge being able to take care of your child, or if you need help taking care of your child, then ask for help. Don't just sit there and punish and have your children running wild, and then you got to go to court with them next week, and then you got to stand with them, and you got to feel frustrated about that process. I tell you tomorrow we can talk about the court process, because that's a whole different ball game by itself. But you got to face that because you didn't do what you had to do when you had the chance to do it. So parents, please, let's get involved. Now, I'm not saying that every child that's bad is because bad parents, but I'm saying if we have a little more role to play with our children, we can steer some of them away from these lifestyles of crime and criminal elements. You know why? Because it happens to come down to this. The Crisis Center officials expressing grave concern over the apparent increase in attempted suicides among teens, particularly young boys. If you don't believe me, listen to this story with Desmond Saunders.
Stress or crisis in boys is a global phenomenon. It's not just happening here. If you look all around the world, there are issues with boys and young men having difficulties relating, feeling happy, feeling good about themselves.
Director of the National Crisis Center, Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson, believes the breakdown of the traditional family structure, child abuse in the home, and online bullying are contributing factors that have sparked the rise of attempted suicides. The troubling trend prompting the center to introduce intervention programs within the school system to tackle this issue.
And we've had kids who come here with all kinds of issues. We have one child who came to our literacy program and our counseling program, and then relocated to one of the family islands after he'd been doing it for about a year and a half. And he's now a prefect on the family island. So it's those kinds of stories that keep us going.
Dr. Patterson believes a targeted approach is needed to address this issue. She's also calling on communities to become more attentive to the emotional needs of men.
You know, big boys don't cry. You know, when we had if you constantly get that message, you know, put on your big boy pants. You know, you don't need to cry. You're not a girl. You know, and so boys aren't allowed to be in touch with their feelings. And what do they do with them? They stuff them. They internalize them. And then, of course, when they go to school and they get even more stress.
If you or someone you know has a mental illness, is struggling emotionally, or has concerns about his or her mental health, there are ways to help. You can call the center's 24-hour hotline at 328-0922. There's a Psychological Association hotline at 816-8799, or the mail hotline at 821-8123. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
And therein lies the end result of when our young men are troubled and can't get the help they need. They're resulting to attempts of suicide. Our young men are needed in this country. We need them in society, and we need them to grow up healthy, productive, and to be able to contribute to society. But for some reason, they're faced with challenges. We have to get involved to save the young men in this country. I can't say it enough. We're talking about this right now, and this is coming in to our media network about another shooting on DeVoe Street. We've been told by police that the victim died to injuries on the scene. And so, of course, we just dispatched a news team to that particular scene. I'm being told it's Fleming Street West is where the country's latest homicide just took place while we were on the air talking about these stories. We need intervention for our young men. We sincerely need intervention for our young men. Stay tuned to the ZNS Network. We'll have the latest on this latest murder on Fleming Street West again tonight. Well, switching gears tonight, food security is a focal point of tonight's show. A January United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization report on food security and nutrition acknowledged that the Bahamas has the lowest prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity in the Caribbean. We're also listed as one of the countries with some of the highest costs to maintain a healthy diet. Ain't that the truth? We talked about it the other day. It's expensive to eat good, but it's very affordable to eat bad and kill yourself. But many residents here in the capital are pleased that the price of eggs has declined. If you travel to Super Value supermarkets, you would find that eggs are $3.79, a drastic difference than the previous price, which was pretty much over $10. Government implemented the Golden Yolk program a few years ago to secure egg production across the country, but there's been some challenges with that. Tonight we have an update. We'll tell you exactly what happened, what went wrong, what are the issues facing agriculture and marine resources. The minister, he is here, Jomo Campbell. He's going to talk to us tonight along with his team. They're all here. Now we're going to put the hard questions to them and get the answers so we know exactly where we are going forward. They are charged with the responsibility of ensuring the Bahamas is well nourished with adequate food and, more importantly, fresh food that all Bahamians can enjoy. So stay with us. We're going to have an interesting conversation on the rundown when we come back right after the break. The minister and his top team. We're back after this.
Hi, I'm Kizzy Hanna, and I am the CEO of Nail Envy Salon Studio and Nail Envy Academy. My business offers education for beginner level, intermediate, and advanced level nail classes for those persons who would like to become nail technicians and continue that education for those persons that are in the professional atmosphere already. So our curriculum has already been vetted and approved by the National Accreditation and Equivalency Council of the Bahamas. What distinguishes Nail Envy Academy from the competitors, we are really focused on relaying our information in a proper and conducive environment, making sure that our students are getting that one-on-one attention that is needed to be able to send them out into the field and be able to be successful in their occupation. I am so passionate about what I do because I want young women to know that not everyone has to have tertiary education. You can throw your whole self at something and bring a difference to your industry.
For more information about the Creative Entrepreneurs Initiative and the Crafting the Bahamas workshops, email info@sbdcbahamas.com or call us at 461-7232.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lupinder.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
I have been coming to this island since I was 12 years old. It didn't take me long to realize the rich history it has here. When I bought this island in 2018, I fulfilled a lifelong dream. The goal is not only to preserve the memories I made over those years, but to make new ones and to give others the opportunity to do the same. As we go through this process, it has become clear to me, we aren't just rebuilding an island, we're reviving a legend.
Welcome back to the Rundown. A special good night to all of you who are watching, whether you're in the Lion's Den on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube, or of course in the Caribbean, the region, around the world on your various platforms, or here at home. It's always good to have you with us tonight. Well, all things agriculture is our topic tonight. The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources mandate is to implement, monitor, review, and evaluate its policies and the work programs for the development of the Department of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Cooperative Development to ensure pretty much compliance with the overall goals and objectives of the government. Now, joining us tonight is the Minister responsible, the Honorable Jomo Campbell. He's also joined by the Bahamas Agriculture and Industrial Corporation Executive Chairman, Senator Darren Pickstock, and General Manager Troy Sampson. Gentlemen, it's your first time here. Welcome to the Rundown. Great to have all of you with us.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's get right into it, because you know, people have been asking, you know, I've never seen agriculture have been in the news so much lately. And I always tell people there's an opportunity to really talk about it, whether it be good news or bad news, whatever it is. But obviously the first thing I want to talk about, Minister, is the Golden Yoke program, because many people have been asking what's going on with it. Did it fail? Where was this money? Is it talking about some 15+ million that was allocated? Did we use the money as a country and went somewhere else? Where'd it go? Explain to us this Golden Yoke program and the funding that was said to be allocated for it. Where did it go?
Well, Clint, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. It's always pleasing to know that agriculture is at the forefront, because that's exactly where we want to be. You know, food security is indeed everyone's business. And so we're happy to be here and happy to share with the general public. To get to your question, Clint, no. The direct answer is no. All of the funds are, in fact, not depleted. What we want people to understand, Clint, is that the Golden Yoke is not just a project. The Golden Yoke is the development of an actual industry, an egg industry.
So this is more than just a program that you're rolling out?
Yes. You're quite right. Now, the Golden Yoke has several components to it, like what we did 2 weeks ago with members of the media by taking them to see the first portion of what we call the National Layer Program. That consisted of 1,000 layers shared between several farmers, because what we want to do is we want to boost egg production in the country. And everyone knows, just over the last 2 months, there's been an egg crisis. So we had to pivot. We had to pivot to make an immediate response to the pain that the general public was feeling. That's the purpose of the government. We're here to alleviate the pain of the population. And so what we did was we wanted to ensure that we injected as many layers as possible into the community so that the public at large can be able to purchase at a reasonable rate. We had farms like Essential Farms, which the PM and I visited. They were selling eggs for under $8 a dozen. You have D&T Nursery, also selling for under $8 a dozen. You have one Mr. Justin Taylor, who is selling also at a very reasonable rate. And, you know, it's so remarkable, Clint, to see the way that the public caught on to it and actually bought into the concept, because just Saturday past, one of your colleagues, Lloyd Allen, was out at the Gladstone Road complex and showed the large number of persons who are actually out there shopping and buying local.
Is that a part of Golden Yoke program, being able to provide opportunities for other local farmers to be able to purchase? Is that a part of the program?
Certainly, it is a part of the program. The Golden Yoke is a very complex process, and it's being rolled out in phases. So that is actually the first phase. And what will come is what I think has everyone's attention, which is the more grandiose aspect of it that involves the layer houses, involves the actual industry part of it. And so to get to the crux of that, you know, because that's where everyone's attention is, where the money is, the quote-unquote $15 million. I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt today to the Bahamas at large that we have not spent 1/4 of that money.
Which equates to about what?
Just roughly approximately $3 million.
That's all that's been spent so far?
To date.
Not the $15 million that's been reported.
Clint, I said yesterday that food security should never be used as a political football. This is something that touches everyone, regardless of any particular persuasion, religious denomination, political persuasion. And, you know, it should never be used for selfish purposes. Unfortunately, it has happened in the press, on social media, and so we're here today to clear all of that up. And what you can see, in fact, happening just today, I think we shared with some of your team members the fact that we have containers here in Nassau today that were open with equipment and material to be used.
I think we have some pictures we'll put up as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So we have some of the pictures of you opening it. So then the question obviously is, what's been the delay? Because by now people thought the program would have been up and running. Is it that easy?
It's not that easy. We're talking about the development of an actual industry. It's not as easy as the backyard farming program.
So these are all tools, these are all materials that you're going to be needed to erect whatever you need for the program to be able to be sustained.
Yes. They were open today. We have 13 containers filled with material from top to bottom. And this is where the public's money is. And the reason why we had the press out with us last week or 2 weeks ago is because we heard the murmurs that were coming around on social media. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have absolutely nothing to hide. But this program involved multinational countries from across the Atlantic, across the Pacific Ocean. We've spent numerous hours on Zooms at ungodly hours just to accommodate certain time zones. We're dealing with companies in India, companies in the United States of America. We have our feed mill, a new feed mill, the first feed mill in this country in over 40 years. Yeah. Our current feed mill, Clint, is over 40 years old.
Wow.
And it was originally only to be used for the sustenance of the folks at the Gladstone Road complex. However, the government has extended its use to farmers at large, and even farmers from the Family Islands. And so the first aspect of what we have to do with the Golden Oak, you can't have chickens if you can't feed them.
Right, right.
So we had to make sure that the feed mill was a part of it. The feed mill is here. Yeah. It's on the ground in Nassau. It can be seen. It's not a figment of our imagination. We had to spend money for it. And then we have the material, as you saw just now, that will go towards the constructions of the layer houses, the pullet houses, and all of these are also phases, which will be upscaled as time goes on.
How long do you think it will take before we begin to see the yield from setting up this Golden Yield program and getting these chickens to lay eggs and so forth?
We laying eggs now. I actually had some in my hand last week. Some of your colleagues had some in their hands. And you see, that's what we want the public to understand. It's not one glass of water in the front of us that makes up the Golden Yoke. The Golden Yoke is comprised of numerous phases and aspects. Some of our staff from the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources are currently on the ground in Exuma. God willing, I'll be joining them tomorrow because we are taking eggs, we are taking layers to Exuma.
I love that. We just played a story tonight where people are saying how expensive eggs are in Exuma.
Well, we are coming because this program is not just Nassau-centric. You know, one of the beauties of the Bahamas, Clint, is that we're an archipelago. We're made up of many islands and keys. Our brothers to the north have suffered from the bird flu. being one large landmass. So it was very easy for the spread of disease in one single landmass. Unfortunately for them, that's the fate they suffered. For us here in the Bahamas, what we want to do, we want to ensure Exuma is self-sufficient, Abaco is self-sufficient, Grand Bahama is self-sufficient, because God forbid something happens here in Nassau, we have other islands that we can pivot to and rely on. So tomorrow, we'll be in Exuma. Exuma, we are coming with those layers. Grand Bahama, West End, we are coming with those layers. Abaco, we are coming with those layers as well. And we want to share the joy and share the wealth of what the Golden Yoke program is.
I want to get the other two gentlemen in. I know, and if you're wondering why we're giving the minister all of this time, because the minister is only going to be with us for this segment, so I want to get all I can get in with the minister before he leaves us. But so clearly, the Golden Yoke program hasn't been shelved. Chairman, let's talk about that a second. Because some people think, okay, well, maybe they changed their mind. Maybe it didn't work out the way they wanted to work out. It's just a part of a process that has to be thoroughly moved through so it can be successful.
Absolutely. I mean, it's far from shelved. As you saw recently, Minister showed you just the photos of containers that were being opened today. And so that means that we are aggressively approaching and we are redoubling our efforts to ensure that we can get this program far ahead. And so we're very excited about this. As the minister indicated, there has been misconception and misrepresentation around the Golden Yoke program. This is a multifaceted program. The Golden Yoke isn't just a one-shot program. It is a program where we are incentivizing farmers. As Minister indicated, we are laying eggs now. This is, again, it's not a figment of anyone's imagination. We are laying these eggs now. We are empowering our farmers by giving them, incentivizing them, whether it's through chicks, whether it's through feed, whether it's through incentives. We are incentivizing our farmers, and all of that comes under the Golden Yoke program as a whole. And so we're very excited about this. You know, history has shown us that we were self-sufficient in eggs. Obviously, as a result of whatever has happened, we fell off the train. But we are very excited to be coming back and to be self-sufficient in eggs. And you will hear from Minister exactly when the full rollout of this program is anticipated. And we're very excited this year to see the fruition of this whole program.
So, Minister, give us that timeline. Obviously, supplies are coming in now, and then there's to be a phase of construction and all of that stuff. What is your timeline for being able to get this industry up and running?
We are looking, I would say, at Q4 of this year. Because, you know, we want to make sure that when we bring this to the Bahamian public, that there's no going back, there's no redoing anything. So we want to make sure we get through all of our checks and balances. So I would safely say Q4. As of this month, we actually may be able to start the e-procurement system for the construction of the foundation for some of the first layer houses that will be a part of this program. But Clint, just as important, to piggyback off of what the chairman said, I can tell you that on the 11th of March, the 11th of March, we have training sessions that have started. The first training session pertained to food and safety. The second training session for the 12th will be pertaining to plant propagation and animal husbandry. We also have abattoir training, and then we also have animal control unit testing training. The reason why I'm saying this is because we want the general public to know that the Golden Yoke just isn't eggs.
Yes.
The Golden Yoke is about equipping the minds of the young persons and persons who want to be a part of agriculture, and let's say eggs specifically maybe, but the whole gamut of what it is that we're offering as a ministry and as a corporation. And so there's a training aspect of it. That's why it was so important for us when we signed the MOU with the Ministry of Education to launch our agricultural cadets program. The police have cadets, customs has cadets, And so why shouldn't we, as agriculturalists, have cadets? Agriculture is an aging industry, and so we want to encourage, inspire, educate, and empower the younger generation to take what's rightfully theirs, and that's the future of food security, to put it in their hands. But before we bring this industry to the general public, we have to equip them with the knowledge and wherewithal for them to be able to manage it. Because this is going to be a Bahamian project built and managed by Bahamians for Bahamians.
For years to come.
For years to come. And it's certainly a pleasure to be a part of this process. You know, there were those who were there before us. And even in saying that, myself, I came in as a new minister, our permanent secretary, our undersecretary, our chairman, and so we all had to familiarize ourselves with the process that we came into meeting on the table when we arrived at our current positions. And so it's extremely exciting.
All right, we're going to go to a break. In minutes, I want to say thank you for being here. I know you have to run out, but bring in some clarity to what has been a very muddy situation and bring clarity. When we come back, we're going to continue talking about this and other parts of agriculture. Of course, we're going to release the general manager of the AIC to talk in our next segment and give him an opportunity to talk some more about what's happening. Stay close. You're watching The Rundown here on the ZNS Network. We're back after this. Stay close.
Since a young girl, I always loved watching the women come in and get their hair done and commune together with everybody. I grew a great appreciation for that. I always had a great love for making women feel beautiful and just the atmosphere of a beauty salon. Hi, my name is Asia Cartwright, and I'm a hairstylist at the Glow Bar in Old Fort Bay. I enjoyed accounting. I did it professionally for a few years. After the pandemic, I decided to take a leap of faith, go off to school in Atlanta at a Veda Institute to learn the science behind hair, because I realized this is my passion. This is something that I really wanted to do, but I wanted to understand the real depth of, okay, why does hair do this? Why is it responding this way? What do I need to do to help someone get on their best hair journeys? It's not been easy. When it's fueled by passion, you always have an extra push and motivation to just try harder. It's being fueled from your heart space. I enjoy making women feel beautiful. I enjoy being a listening ear. It's more than hair, it's like therapy. We all leave leaving lighter. For women that are, you know, facing some type of fear, that want to change their path and careers, I would say do it. I trusted God because I don't feel like he would have given me the vision and the dreams if it wasn't for me. It doesn't matter what no one says. It doesn't matter, you know, how it looks from the outside. And I'm going to give it my all, and that's what I do.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Welcome back to The Rundown here on the ZNS Network. My guest is just a whole bunch of people in agriculture, from the Minister, Jumbo Campbell, to the Chairman of the AIC, Senator Darren Pickstock, to the General Manager of the AIC, Troy Sampson, talking about not just the Golden Yield program, but agriculture, feeding ourselves, sustaining ourselves. The Minister is graciously giving us 5 more minutes before he has to depart. And I wanted to really ask, Minister, because we've heard the passion, we've seen you talk about this, and my question really is, why is this so important for you? Why is this so important to see this happen?
Clint, that's an excellent question. For me personally, it all boils down to your love for people. You know, we have a leader with a very big and brave heart, and he's made it quite clear that it's a part of his mandate and a part of our New Day government mandate that we have to love our people. Now, you know, we can sometimes try to go around and give vouchers to as many people as we can or buy breakfast or lunch, but the reality is we won't be able to do that for everybody. So if we can see an initiative like this Golden Yoke through that will impact everyone, instead of giving them fish, we teach them how to fish. We teach them how to manage the business of fishing and how to be the best fishermen and salesmen when it comes to the fish that they catch. And for me, that is so important and instrumental because, as you know, I think it's Isaiah chapter 58, verse 11, that says, where God guides you, he will provide for you. And that is definitely what is taking place now through the implementation of this Golden Yoke. And we are committed to seeing it through for the love of our Bahamian people and for the fact that food security is our business.
Senator Pickstock, the leader of the opposition, served as former Minister for Agriculture. He's been very vocal about what agriculture is doing and so forth. What do you say in response to his criticism about the Golden Yoke program and about agriculture and the fact that it's not doing as much as it should be doing?
Right. I mean, Clint, the reality is, as you said, the leader of the opposition served as the Minister of Agriculture. He had an opportunity to make big changes and to take the big steps, but he did not do so. We are here and we are taking those big steps. We are making the changes. We have all of the materials in the Bahamas. We have spent the time and the investment in ensuring that we are self-sufficient. We are producing eggs now. We are not just talking about this. We are doing this. And through our minister, we will see this through to the end. And so I want to just personally thank our minister, Jomo Shaka Campbell, for making this happen and seeing this through. He has supported this project 100%, and he has never wavered. And you can hear the passion through his response just now for this project. So we're not just talking about this. Some people talk, and some people get it done. We are a government that gets it done. Those other people, they obviously didn't get it done, so.
I want to bring George, I'm going to get the general manager in here because obviously you have to lead the group of technical people who have to make sure these programs run out, they're efficient, and they work. How do you feel? Are you optimistic about this Golden Yoke program and it being rolled out to completion and benefiting and becoming a new industry?
Hey, thank you, Clint, for that question. I have no choice but to be optimistic about it. And the reason why, Clint, is because 99% of the professionals that are developing this project, and as Minister said, this isn't just a one locale or one tier. This is a multifaceted project. 99% of the professionals involved in it are Bahamian nationals. Bahamians can do these type of amazing things, and we're seeing it happen as we speak, right? Chairman mentioned that today the seals were broken on containers that contain the building materials for some of the layer houses. The building material for the new feed mill is at the site. The equipment that will populate that feed mill to produce feed on orders of magnitude more than the experimental feed mill that's over 4 decades old, that milling material is in country, right? And so there are tangible assets that can be seen, felt, touched to demonstrate that this is a real project that's multidimensional, right? That is a whole industry that is being developed. The Golden Yoke represents this large commercial arm. It also represents the National Layer Program. It also represents the intervention with the schools. It also represents the reduction in egg prices immediately, right? And so the forethought of the minister and the chairman and the administration years ago is now bearing fruit. This wasn't a recent thought in reaction to what's happening globally. the forethought, the wisdom, the assessment of what was happening in the world caused this program to be in train from then. And so do I have optimism for it? Absolutely, because I believe that as Bahamians, we can rise to the challenge of anything that we're given to do. Now, you know, when you take your car to the mechanic and he tells you you have it for you on Wednesday,
and Wednesday ain't ready.
You know, so just naturally in life, delays happen.
Right.
Your contractor tell you you have you in your house for December, February, you still around them saying, "Man, when I can get my key," right? So this is all a part of the process, but we are undaunted in terms of becoming self-sufficient and not having to rely on anybody else to feed us. That is the goal.
Minister, I'll give you the final thought before we go to a break, and that simply is, there may be some concern about farmers that they're not getting the financial support that they need. What do you say to people who say, well, you know, are Bahamian farmers being given funding to be able to expand and develop and take their goods to market and be able to package them when they harvest them? What do you say?
Well, Clint, that is a microcosm of a larger eternal economic question. Unlimited wants to be satisfied by limited resources. We are certainly trying our best with the ministry in partnership with SPDC. We had a grant program to the tune of $1 million to address the needs of farmers and fishers. We just recently in December hosted another program that we called a vulnerable program for some of the farmers and fishermen who, for whatever reason, did not make the cut the first go-round.
Wow.
And that rose to the tune of $1.6 million.
So money is going out to farmers?
Definitely. As a part of the National Layer Program, coops are being built. The coops have started to be erected. I think it's safe to say today the erections of the coops now and Farmers Key is taking place as we speak. So with the rollout of the National Layer Program, we weren't just giving the checks. We provided up to 3 months supply of feed. We also provided the build out of coops, the wire mesh, the drip irrigation, the feeds, all of these stuff, because we know how hard it is. And we understand that the desire is there. And so we will do as much as our budget will allow us to do. And once the country sees the passion that the farmers, the fishermen all have for what it is that they do, just to provide fruits and produce and fish to the Bahamian public, then we hope that their voice resonates loud enough where we may probably get a little bump in our budget. But for as it stands right now, we will do whatever it is we can do with what we have. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say a heartfelt thank you to all of the staff under the umbrella of the ministry. They work hard. Regardless of what you hear the song say about public servants, everyone under the umbrella of the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, BAMZ, BAIC, Department of Marine Resources, BASFA, the Animal Control, the Pound, they all work hard. And we do our job day in and day out. Sometimes I get to work, I meet some people there, and you leave them there. So they are the true epitome of what it means to be public servants. Our job never stops.
Well said, Minister. Yes. I'll let you go for true this time. Thank you for being here. When we come back, we have a consultant who's going to join us at the group and talk about what he's experienced as well. And we're back after this. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SPDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting TingsyBahamas.com.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
And welcome back to the show. It's great to have all of you with us here on the Rundown. And of course, we want to bring into the conversation now a consultant who is at the Ministry of Agriculture. And I guess he can give us the technical stuff. They have your name, but it's somewhere in the teleprompter, and I don't know where it is. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself. I have it here too. Let me just pull it up for you, Mr. Justin Taylor. I got it. Justin Taylor, who is a consultant. And welcome to the show. I want to jump right in because obviously people are concerned about the eggs, quality of eggs, the production of the eggs. Tell us, first of all, because people are consuming them, are the eggs that people are consuming now, are these good quality eggs? And tell us a little bit of what you know about them.
Okay, thank you, Clint. First, I'd like to give a synopsis on the egg breed, okay? So the eggs breed actually are called table eggs.
Table eggs.
Table eggs, okay? So you have actually two types of eggs. You have table eggs and you have fertilized eggs. The table eggs actually are used for human consumption. The eggs that we eat actually contains what we call vitamin B complex. They're full with choline and vitamin and minerals that helps our body against free radicals. So we have powerful antioxidants, all right? So all these eggs actually have to pass what you call a risk assessment and a critical analysis before entering the country. So the eggs, like you see with the food store, so they had to go through what we call a hazard program. So this hazard program actually that the veterinarian or the body which is responsible, which is passed for, and the Ministry of Agriculture, they actually have to seek technical expertise with the veterinarian in that said country. So it could be any country in the world, but they just have to actually pass some standards. So once they pass the standards that food is safe and available to eat, we could actually import those eggs. So when those eggs come, they actually have what you call a best before date. So eggs have to be consumed at a certain time because why you start actually losing all of the minerals, the protein start to get integrated, and then you get all that. But the eggs actually are safe to eat.
And they're pretty good.
Pretty good, yes.
I've had some. Ain't enough for me. I want to talk about, obviously, bird flu, because bird flu is affecting in the United States and so forth. So the concern here is, as we go into egg production, what do we do to mitigate against losing all of this investment that we're putting into building the poultry industry? And I want General Manager Sampson to also talk about that, because the thing about agriculture and marine resources is there's such a risk.
Right.
Whether it's weather, when you talk about crops, or whether it's disease when you talk about livestock, you can literally lose millions of dollars in investments. You know, you're very vulnerable to it. What measures are being put in place to ensure that we have good stock and that they're a service for some time?
So I'm just going to give you an overview on bird flu. Bird flu is known as H5N1, or avian influenza. It was actually first discovered in 2000 in Europe, and then that strain of virus has actually started in the west coast of the United States, California in particular, which actually 50 million birds was impacted directly. Wow. Today, they has been affected 150 million birds, which resulted in this high spike in the egg price. So you can imagine 150 million birds that has been culled. Average, every 1,000 birds produce 800 eggs. So every 100,000 birds, 80,000, and so it goes on. It's 80%.
Wow.
So you can imagine why it's a supply and demand chain. So the golden yolk has actually sophisticated system. So we have a good biosecurity protocol, which include like foot baths when you go in through, a disinfected area for your boots to actually kill all the pathogens such as gram-positive bacteria, gram-negative bacteria, and also the treating component, which I have actually formatted, is very important because it shows about quality assurance, eggshell formation. It tells you about poultry husbandry. Poultry husbandry is very important. In order to get the business, one must entail all of these tools to actually said to be a good farmer. So all of the prospective farmers will actually go through a mandatory training, which is from the Ministry of Agriculture and BIC, which we have implemented from both a technical perspective and a business conceptive. So we actually have all that laid out. And the housing design is actually so sophisticated that it's actually like a climatic control house, meaning that, let's say, we can control sensors, so it's like AI technology.
Wow.
So when it's hot or cold, so we can mimic all of these, technology.
You're using a lot of high technology in the creation of this industry.
Correct.
Which means we're going to be leaders in this if we're able to really maximize this and make good on this.
Right. And also the genetics of the chicken we use is a strain from a Rhode Island red breed. So we're going to use a strain called the Isobron. Isobron is a prolific breed, meaning that it lays a lot of egg.
Wow.
So a formula we use is actually one bird will lay 250 eggs per year. 250 eggs a year. Okay.
That's a lot of eggs.
So in the Bahamas right now, our import is like 27.2 million eggs. Wow. So we import 27.2 million eggs a year. Yep. So the impact of the Golden Yolk program with these 7 houses, we're going to have actually 70,000 chickens at one time producing Nassau, which account to 56,000 eggs per day. So the family island, as Minister talk about the family islands, the north, the central, and the south, we're going to actually have these small outlets, the school programs, and then you have the layer program with the 100 birds here, the 1,000 birds here. So all of these are actually going to be a cohesive group towards a food security at a greater level.
General Manager, you're smiling. Obviously, this speaks to a significant expansion of the industry and the capabilities of being able to provide some level of security for us.
Absolutely. Clint, and just hearing Justin's description of what it is that's being procured for this project in terms of the project location at Gladstone Road, because again, we know that this is a multifaceted, multi-layered project, but specifically with regard to what's being produced at Gladstone Road, you can't go on Amazon tonight and find these things, eh?
Right.
This requires a high level of technical acumen and negotiation with international vendors to supply these things at the standard we require them. You predicated your question asking about risks. Another feature of this is right now we're in discussions with an international company to provide what's called parametric agricultural insurance. That is agricultural insurance related to anything to do with disasters as a result of the weather. And whether that is floods, wind, or anything weather-related that may cause damage to crop, livestock, or poultry, that for the first time in this country, that's being advanced, right? Hasn't been concretized yet, but to the point you asked about whether and how do we now address all of these areas of risk, this is all a part of what we have to bring to the table in a full contemplation of how we create this sector, this industry, in a sustainable way.
All right, makes a lot of sense. I can't help myself. I'm just naturally laughing. The chair is falling down. That's what you see going on over here. That's not his height. I'm not even trying to keep my composure. But we're out of time in any event. Gentlemen, thank you for coming to explain to us. We're going to have you back and talk about food security because that's a big question. But I think the bottom line is we're able to see ourselves moving close to it by taking one program at a time and being able to understand that it's not an overnight fix. It takes a time, but we have to make major dents. This program is designed to do just that and to be able to help provide some level of self-sufficiency. Chairman, I'll give you the final word.
Right. So, again, I think you've heard the very technical aspect. And what we want the Bahamian public to know is that this program is just not a government initiative. This is a movement, Clint. This is the Bahamas getting back to feeding itself. And that is a win for all of us. And like the team here said, this is not a figment of your imagination. We have 10,000 chicks on site right now. We have 3,000 chicks in the possession of BAMSI that are producing. We have 10,000 chicks on order on its way to the Bahamas now. So we are moving.
That's amazing.
Right? And so you would have heard from this team that we are moving. This is not about a project. This is a industry. And so we want the Bahamian public to know that the government of the Bahamas is moving and has the best interest of Bahamians at heart, and we are moving this industry forward.
That's a good note to end on. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part. We're definitely supporting the initiatives that you're doing. Thank you so much. And of course, I have to say happy birthday to Minister's daughter. That's where he ran off to make sure he could be there for the cutting of the cake. So happy birthday to Jahia. Happy birthday to you. Your dad's on his way to celebrate your birthday with you. That does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS Network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's a final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with Royston Jones. I saw him in the building just now. He's preparing to give you the 11 o'clock news. We'll have the latest on the 11 o'clock news, of course, with that unfortunate latest homicide happening here in the country. Well, that's it. For all of us here at ZNS News, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.